Hello guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about phrasal verbs. And what I'm going to do is first talk you through my daily routine, and then I'm going to look at each phrasal verb one by one and talk about their definitions. Through this, you'll hopefully be able to learn some really common phrasal verbs that I use in everyday English, and this will hopefully help you take your English to the next level. Without further ado, let's get to the video. To start, my alarm usually goes off at 7:30. Although it goes off then, I like to lie in bed for a little longer. I've got into a bad habit recently of looking at my emails before I do anything else. I have to admit, I don't usually have anything important, but I check it just to make sure I don't have anything I need to do. So, what is the very first thing that happens in the morning? Well, for me, my alarm goes off. Now, go off here can have a couple of meanings depending on the context. In this context, however, go off means to ring or to make a loud noise. I'm sure everyone, including myself, is familiar with the sound that our alarm makes to wake us up. Then put your little hand in mine. So I just wanted to point out something confusing here. The following phrase is both a phrasal verb and a noun. It can be used as an action and as a thing. Let's take a look at an example of how I use it. This is something that I am guilty of, and this is lying in. Now, a lie-in means to stay in bed longer than you should, basically to avoid getting up. Usually I only have a short lie-in of 10 to 15 minutes, but at the weekends I can lie in for up to an hour. When I say look at my emails, it means when I direct my eyes towards them. In other words, they have my focus and attention. Now, you can of course look at other things or even people, but don't look at them for too long because this would be weird. After that, I open up the news app and scroll down to see what's been happening in the world. At about 7:45, I'll finally get up and I'll go into the kitchen and pop on the kettle and wait for the water to boil. After lying in bed, I get up. Now, I just wanted to clear up here the difference between get up and wake up, which is something that is a common mistake for my students. Get up is when you leave the bed. Wake up is when you open your eyes, or the moment you open your eyes, when usually your alarm goes off. Pop the kettle on, would ya? This is so British, and that's why I love it. Now, pop is a very funny verb in British English, and we usually associate pop with doing something quickly. So when I say pop on the kettle, it means that I am switching it on or turning it on, but in a quick way. Now, another thing to note here is that pop on is a separable phrasal verb. Now, by separable, I mean that we can separate pop and on and put something in the middle of it. You just have to remember that if someone asks you to pop something on, it means that they want you to switch it on for them in a quick and easy way. Now, pop on is often used very informally in English, and that's why you might only hear it in a household or amongst friends, for example. Both turn on and pop on mean to start a piece of electrical equipment, and they can be used interchangeably. In other words, they almost mean the same thing. After the water is boiled, I pour it into my mug and add a tea bag. I prefer green tea in the morning or coffee as it helps wake me up. If I have time, I like to make a fry-up with some eggs, beans, mushrooms, and toast. Breakfast usually isn't very fancy, but sometimes I like to indulge myself. Now, who doesn't love a good coffee? In the morning, coffee is a must, and coffee helps me wake up. In other words, it gives me energy and makes me feel more alert. A fry-up is technically a noun, but I couldn't resist putting it in here for you guys. A fry-up is a typical English breakfast, which includes, well, ingredients that are fried. For example, we could have fried eggs, sausages, mushrooms, and usually beans. This is really an English staple, and you just can't go to England and not try a fry up. However, with how big the portions are here, you might come back a little bit fatter. I always find washing up very tedious, but I prefer to do it after I eat, so that it doesn't just sit there all day and annoy me. After breakfast, I normally go to my room and tidy up. To wash up means to clean all the plates, knives, forks, everything that you use when you cook with water and often soap. Now I know after my fry-ups, I usually have a lot to wash up. To tidy something up means to organise it to make it look neat. For example, Tom's mum told him to tidy his room. In other words, she wants him to clean up the clothes off his floor, make his bed, reorganise his books, just to make his bedroom look neat and organised. Next up, I brush my teeth, and if I have to, I have a shave. After that, I jump in the shower. When I'm done in the shower, I grab a towel and start drying myself. Then I'll get dressed, and I like to put on some chill music or maybe even listen to a podcast. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jump in the shower? It's not what you think. As Brits, we're obsessed with doing things quickly. And when I say jump in the shower, I'm not literally jumping up and down. It means that I do it quickly or have a shower quickly. The verb jump is similar to the verb pop in that we use it to express an action that's done quickly. For example, if I jump in the car, it means that I get in the car quickly. A phrasal verb that you'll probably be familiar with is to get dressed. Now, to get dressed is another way to say to put on clothes. Interestingly, we put on clothes, but we don't put them off. We take them off. So remember, put on and take off, not put on and put off. This would sound very weird and incorrect in English. Next up, I'll jump on the computer and start my working day. The rest of the morning consists of coming up with new video ideas, and if they're any good, I jot them down on a piece of paper. Now, coming back to the verb jump, notice how I say jump on the computer. Now again, I'm coming back to this idea of doing things quickly. When I say jump on the computer, I don't mean literally jump on it. I mean that I'm going on the computer or switching it on in a way that's quick. So if I jump on something, it means that I focus on it, but in a quick way. So this is why sometimes learning English can be so frustrating, because we have so many verbs that have similar meanings. This lesson isn't so much about learning all the phrasal verbs, just being able to recognize them when you hear them. Moving on, to come up with something means to think of something new. For example, Jenny came up with a new idea in the meeting. To jot down means to write something down quickly. For example, if you're a student at university, often you will write something down quickly or jot something down when you are in a lecture. I know, we're obsessed with doing things quickly in England. How's it going, guys? And I hope you're learning lots so far. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, but also subscribe for more great content that comes out every week. If I'm teaching, I'll look through my lesson plans beforehand just to double check that the classes are appropriate and all the activities are at the correct level for the students. At around 2 p.m, I treat myself to a light lunch, and of course I have another cup of tea. After lunch, I go back to my computer and start to edit my videos. Editing can be a difficult process, but it's all about breaking it up into small, manageable chunks. Now, if you've ever had to do something like a really long essay or a horrible homework assignment, then you'll understand this next one. To break something up means when you divide something into manageable chunks. So for example, when I'm talking about my editing and I say I like to break it up, it means that I don't like to do it all at once. I like to divide it into manageable sections. For example, for a 5-hour project, I might break it up into, say, 20-minute chunks of work so that I can do a little bit, have a break, and then come back to it a bit later. The evening is all about winding down. I try and limit my time in front of the screen and focus on exercise. I like to work out in the evening. After sitting for most of the day, it's important to warm up to avoid getting injured. After my workout, I get something ready for dinner. If I have leftovers from the night before, I heat them up and eat them for dinner. If I have some free time in the evening, I like to watch a movie or maybe listen to another podcast to relax. Now, for me, as I'm sure it is the same with you guys, the evening is about winding down. Now, the phrasal verb wind down means when you rest and relax after a long day. To work out is a common phrasal verb, and this means to do exercise. Now, of course, it's very important to stretch or warm up before you work out to avoid any injuries. Now, with this phrasal verb, we can kind of picture the muscles being warmed up by the stretching. And this is where the phrasal verb comes from. To get ready means to prepare something. So in this context, I'm saying that I'm preparing my dinner, making sure that all the ingredients are together and making a meal. Don't stop just yet, guys. I've prepared a short quiz for you that will test some of the phrasal verbs that we've learned in today's lesson. Let's get to it. What does go off mean? Is it A, to ring or make a noise, B, to do exercise, C, to eat lunch, or D, to have a shower? A, to ring or make a noise. What does pop on mean? Is it A, to start the day, B, to finish something, C, to turn something on quickly, or D, to make a coffee? C, to turn something on quickly. What does jot down mean? Is it A, to walk quickly, B, to write something quickly, C, to eat something quickly, or D, to go somewhere quickly? B, to write something quickly. What does break up mean? Is it A, to have a coffee, B, to stop watching something, C, to stop in a car, or D, to divide something? D, to divide something. To wind down means A, to rest and relax, B, to start cooking, C, to watch TV, or D, to eat dinner. A, to rest and relax. So there we are, guys, another video done for you there, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, but also tell me in the comments what you would like to see in future videos. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time.